Hi, it's Whitney again, and I just want to go through part 2 of my journal flip through from 2017. So this is actually beginning a new journal. This is the Emerald Lectern Journal, and I started in July 2017, and I'm actually about to finish it here in February 2018. So I am going to flip over and show you guys exactly, explain everything, and hopefully give you some tips and see exactly what I'm doing in these spreads if you haven't seen them before. I do post a lot of these before and after pictures on Instagram, and all of the layouts are available on the website for transferring to your own journal. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Definitely trying to focus more on YouTube this year, so I would love to see you hang around. All right, so I'm going to flip over to the journal view and let's get started. All right, so beautiful Emerald Lectern Journal. This is the A5 size. Start out with my index, and I did it a little differently than I've ever done it, and I'm so glad I did it this way actually. I started out, I actually grouped all my weekly spreads together because pretty much every other page in my journal is a weekly spread. So that's my thing, that's what is all different here, and I hope to show you guys some different ideas hopefully for your own journal. So these are all the different types of pages that are not weekly spreads, so I labeled them here. And then they continue here, but my weekly spreads are all grouped, and the page numbers here, and then the first date of the week is here. So I just made it kind of simple. I did decorate a little bit with my stamps, and all of the products that I share with you I will link in the comments section. So that was a key I was trying to use, but I haven't really fulfilled it. These are some new Avery tabs. What I'm planning on doing is continuing with these, and then the different colors are different days that I need to check those pages. So like the red would have been Monday, blue was going to be every week. But for my next journal, since this one's almost over, I might try something like that so I can reference them quickly. So you will notice I do have a lot of blank pages, not as many as the last journal, but I leave them blank if I am filming something, because most of my spreads are filmed, so you don't really see the bleed through. So if you've seen on the blog, I do have a time blocking printable. This is actually how I transferred it into the journal. So I have this is my general week, what it looks like, and my ideal week, what I like it to be. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I do have the times down the side here. I do have my work blocks where I work, and then this is the little times that I try and get everything done for the week. And then I try and leave some creating a relaxing time at the end of the day. Then Saturday and Sunday are usually open, but it's typically blog stuff that I'm working on. But so I just left that open. So this is a rough draft of my typical week, and I do like to perfect that anyways. So this was a big social media tracker for the Life by Whitney page, starting on 5/7/17 through 12/24. So I did track all my social media stats. And actually, I tracked this in a spreadsheet on my computer, and I came back and transferred most of these numbers. I still haven't done some of these, but I would try and do it once a week and write down the numbers. So then when I'm looking for something to write in the journal, I could just look at that spreadsheet and transfer it all. So this is a song faves by month. So if you follow me, you know I'm obsessed with Spotify. I did have a My Top Song of the Month and then the Spotify Top Song of the Month. So I found actually these top songs from this website down here, and I would look at the first week of the month and see what the top song was to write it down. So, and then I'd write my song down. So nothing crazy here. I do want to put some decoration over here, but I haven't gotten around to that. This is the very first spread I drew in this book. When I do infographics and things like this, I do always write the reference down here just so I remember where I got it from, and so people don't think I'm just coming up with some of this stuff myself, because a lot of it is from different pins and everything from Pinterest or different graphs that I see. This was from a brochure at one of my favorite restaurants, and it shows when these certain types of Gulf seafood are in season with the months down the side. And so the check mark, of course, means the month that they're in season. Kind of fun because we love cooking. Some of these blank pages I just went in and wrote little intro pages. This was back when I was practicing some lettering. This is July's monthly spread. So this is very, very different than anything I've ever done. I do keep the weeks or the days grouped together. So like on Mondays, it's kind of things I like to do on Mondays, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I do like to have a goals section of my monthly spreads and an important section. But these are very different. So this is the key for each one of these boxes. And on the weekends, I kept them smaller and didn't track these vertical squares here or rectangles here. I just did the bottom 3. But if you're looking at one of these squares, say on the 3rd of July, I'm looking at number 1, and that is if I felt productive that day. So it's like an never-ending game of productivity. I try and do as much as I can and not get burnt out on stuff. So anyways, 1 is if I felt productive that day, and this is a yes or no box. So yes, I felt productive that day. Number 2 is, did I plan 15 minutes? So that's a good habit that I want to get into, and I'm still not very good at it. But setting aside time, typically every day, but 15 minutes is a lot of time during the day, but maybe 5 or so minutes. But at this time, July, I was trying to plan that much every day. So that's pretty much just writing the journal and seeing what I did and what I want to do. So that's another yes or no question. So yes, I did plan that day. So the bottom 3 are 3, 4, and 5 and reference mood, energy, and food. And then they reference this key here. So the 3rd one is mood. So I was in an okay mood that day. Energy, pretty decent, and then food was pretty decent too. So that's how you read each one of these. And then on certain days I would write and draw certain different doodles and things that happened that day. So a different one, but kind of fun, might give you some ideas. And obviously this was a mess up page, but you got to take advantage of it, and when you get bored, draw some Zen doodles or something. So this was, I think I was doing this page, but kind of messed up, so I just kind of made the most of it. So this is when I started naming all my spreads. All my past ones are just named the date that they are. This spread is called the Now spread, Now weekly spread on the website. Nothing too crazy here. If my day boxes are horizontal like this, I like to put what I want to do during the day on one side and what I did during the day on the other, and that's where I reference my little key from the last journal. I still use the same little icons. So the different icons here are certain, they're super simple little doodles that I know what I'm talking about here. So the little food with the steam coming out is something we cooked at home. Like the little TV is what we watched on TV. A book is maybe what I'm reading that day. So that's pretty much it there. I do have meals here, and it's a little space, so I did do L and D. Sometimes I would do breakfast. I think it just depended on what I ate that day. And decorated with my little stamps. And then around these, I did do little types of things to track. So a quote of the week, headline, gratitude, waiting on, advice, and one line about the week. And then the Now section is another type of currently section. And like I said on the last video, I do have a free journal companion on the website. And it is actually, I seriously use this when I make my weekly spreads every time. So the main thing is the graph that I show where to put your lines if you're wanting to divide your page into different equal sections, which I do have a whole nother video on the journal companion and how to use it. But I also have this blank space ideas page in the companion that shows, just in case like you didn't want to track in these boxes, these 7 things, like the meals, look at the 7-day boxes and see maybe something else that you want to track. And I do always take suggestions for this. I would love to have this page filled up. So if you have any suggestions, please comment your suggestions. So I do have single box ideas, 7-day boxes, trackers, and currently ideas. So again, on some of my pages that were initially blank, I'll go back and just paste things from different things. So this was a conference I went to for work, and I just pasted in some of the memorabilia from the concert. This is the Health Conscious weekly spread. So if you're wanting to download any of these spreads, I will say the name beforehand. Just search my store at lifebywhitney.com and you can find the free downloads for the measurements of this spread, or a printable version if you just want to print it out and use it for yourself. The mood and energy, I do mood up top. There's nothing that says that, but I just know that. And then energy on the bottom on these trackers. This is an H2O water section, so there's 8 sections. I'm aiming for 80 ounces a day. And I just check marked how many ounces I had, or in tens. And this is a step count in thousands. So this is a little sleep tracker. I did track how much sleep I got. I have a little note section here, and then a meal section for lunch and dinner. Breakfast is usually the same for me, so sometimes I don't track it. And then a little gratitude section here. So this was a fun little New Orleans spread. We were going on a little trip to a conference, so this is what I wanted to do before we got there. I had this all planned out. This is what I wrote about once I got done with the trip. And then we did go to a few of these restaurants, so I did write how they were. And then I wrote just some additional things. So that was a fun trip. It's just kind of fun to get creative on some of these layouts. This is the very first time I used the every single thing terminology. So this is actually a brain dump pretty much. So I think about before the week begins, just every single thing that I need to do. And then I maybe delegate it to a certain day or maybe next week. So these are the days, and then this is later. I didn't use this little key, but it's a good, the whole purpose of this key is after writing every single thing, put these little icons by them and to track their importance. So ASAP is an exclamation mark now. It's a down arrow later, sideways arrow, and way later, double arrow, and then X is never mind, so don't even think about it. So I really do need to implement that a little bit more nowadays, because that's good stuff. So another currently section, that's what I'm doing this week. A one line about today section, little headline section, and a sleep section. So this is what time I woke up, what time I went to bed, and then I tracked it over here with the number of hours. I also tracked water and steps with little cute graphs here too. So this is some blog post ideas, just different separate pages in here that kind of split up my weekly spreads. This is the braid weekly spread. Nothing too crazy here besides the design. The days are on this side. This is the sleep tracker, mood and energy, and then these are I always do it in order, so Monday through Sunday, and sometimes I would split up the colors if they were different. I do use the every single thing section here again. Headlines, gratitude, notes, and then one line about today. So this is a waiting on section that I never finished. So it's just a big spread for waiting on. Now I sometimes include those in the separate weekly spreads or monthly spreads, but I haven't really kept up with that. This was a books to read spread, so this is an ongoing list. If I did read it, I would put, which is really me listening into Audible on my commute to my work, but I did put a little check mark here if I did read them, and then I would put the date finished if I finished them. So this was about the time that I had a whole year under my belt for the Life by Whitney / Bullet Everything website. So I put all my stats here since it had been a year, and I did have a giveaway or something, so I made this spread for it. So this is my birthday spread, and really just an excuse to use my stamps here. So my little celebrate and party pack stamps. On the side are fun to put in there in color with the little Tombow twin tone markers. So I would actually did a little spreadsheet of all the birthdays that I knew and then put them in order, and then I put them on the spread. So a lot more work than it probably needs to be, but that's just me. So this is the August 2017 monthly spread. So it is a different kind of weird layout. I did it horizontally instead of vertically on the days and dates. So it's actually a calendar that starts here on Tuesday and goes up and up. Just a different way to look at things. Kind of cool way if you wanted to write your kind of goals in. This is actually my very first live draw, was on August 20th. So I just write a few important things in these days. I did have my 3 goals, memories, September things, and a don't forget. So if you happen to follow Tombow USA's Instagram account, I did take it over back then it was in August. So I actually didn't finish this spread, but I love this idea and kind of wish I would have finished it. I could always go back and look at my weekly stats, but I haven't done that yet. I used the Tombow dual brush pens, so these guys, to actually make these lines here. So if you push down on them, they do have that thick line. So all you have to do is do the line to track mood, energy, and productivity, and I use these certain colors. So like, it kind of tells you these are the dates, and then these are the days down the middle here. And then I would track steps in water, and this is the key I'm using on this side for the colors. And then I actually use these down here, and you can kind of see. So for steps, this is per 1,000 steps, 0 to 12,000. And then these are the colors that I used. And then water in ounces from 10 to 120. And these are the colors I use. So this is kind of how it turned out. They're not too great on the steps, but decent on the water. Okay, so this is another fun spread and actually very popular at the time. This is called Bamboo Weekly Spread, and it's really about kind of goal setting and goal tracking. So how I did this was I listed the yearly, monthly, and weekly goals on this side. I would actually list them out, and then I would write the dues to get there. So that's this box here. What I actually needed to do to get there, any kind of goal or any kind of steps to take to get there. I did that for the monthly or yearly goals. And then I'd write everything else I needed to do that week that I was thinking of. So then I numbered them all. Okay, and then so on this right page I have a do's section and a did section. So the do's are actually these numbers from over here. I would just move them over here to actually what I needed to do. So on like Monday, I would look and look at the number and actually reference where that is and what I needed to do. So at the end of the day, I would write what I actually did, kind of some fun things, and then the weather down the side, notes section, and then a favorite section. And then the trackers, the bamboo in this case, mood, energy, and this is the first time I started tracking productivity. And I use this little key down here. So kind of fun one, kind of get stuff done one. I like it. This was a week that my grandmother visited, and I kind of just wrote down some things about the visit. This is the Charlie weekly spread. So this is a crazy one. I named it after, it kind of looks like Charlie Brown's shirt. And you can search these, of course, on the website. This is mood and energy tracking. All the days are through the middle here. Every single thing section. This week and next week, a sleep tracker, water intake, and memories and headlines, and a favorite song, and then notes and ideas. So this is the key, but I don't think I used it much. I used it here, but for mood and energy, I just used the little lines here. This is, if you don't follow me on Instagram, every Friday I do a Friday feature, so a fun journal account that I find beautiful. There's so many, but I always look at this hashtag Life by W to pick one of my Friday features. So I've listed them out. Anyway, so there's another one of those tabs that I was trying to implement at the time, but I haven't. I need to do it in my next journal. So this is the In Zen weekly spread. So this has recently got some traction for some reason, but it's kind of a fun one, just a different layout. The first time I ever did little mini Zen doodles here. I did do a currently reading section, song of the week, gratitude, week's highlights, current projects, and then the weather section down here. And I did the highs and lows on the weather section. The little chart down here is mood, energy, productivity, and steps tracking. So again, this is my little key. And then this is another kind of every single thing, but I called it Let's Brainstorm here. And then my day box is a little small there, but I fit everything I needed to in. Sometimes on random pages, I'll just find something on Pinterest and practice lettering or whatever I want to do late night. This is actually says 23 emotions people feel but can't explain, and I got it from this website here, so I can always put the reference if I want to come back and finish it. This is the 35 weekly, and this is another very productivity focused spread. So it's pretty much saying 5 things per day. Little things can be little or big things, but manageable things that you want to write here and have little check mark here if you do them. I did the little halfway sign maybe if I got it started, and an X if it didn't get done. And then the done section was at the end of the day what I filled out. This is a graph for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, BLD. I do have the weather section and a wake and sleep time here to squeeze in there. I do have my 3 goals for the week, and then the currently little boxes on the outside. So this was coming around my birthday weekend, so I sat down and wrote down, played around with my brush pens and wrote out my ideal birthday weekend. And then I think this is actually what I did do on my birthday weekend, or birthday. It was a Saturday, so it was a good day. So this is the vertical days spread, still in that productivity theme. I have my goals here, my week goal, month goal, and year goal, and you can seriously never write down your goals enough. So that's why a lot of these weekly spreads are repetitive, but it kind of stamps it in your head to try and get these things done. So this is what I got to do to get there. So these are little steps I need to take to work towards these bigger goals. I do have a little appointment section, currently section, and gratitude, and then a breakfast, lunch, and dinner table here. And then I did have a smaller section here for what to do. And these are the actual times that I had free. So I would write down my free time blocks that I would have to get this stuff done, that I would be uninterrupted. So I'd write that down. And then I did do the mini Zen every day again too. I did do a mood and energy section, the colors, wake and sleep time, and then weather here. This was another fun one that I made for the Tombow Takeover. This is different things to track in your journal. So this is what to track maybe on a certain weekly spread or monthly spread or anything in your journal. So this was just a fun one to do. This was another just play around page with, I track like everything I do in an app called Swarm. It used to be called Foursquare, but like anytime I go places, instead of using Facebook to check in, I use Swarm just so I can quickly look back and see what I was doing on certain days or when the last time I went somewhere was. Just a weird thing, but I've done it since it came out. So I did just grab that app and look back on these places that I checked in and some of the highlights of my year. And I think I did that up to August. So I need to finish this and do the rest of the year, but I just did those days just for practice and fun. There's another hello page. So this was a fun September spread. I got some little stencils from Michaels. I just, it took me a while, but I got a real fine pen and drew all the numbers in. And I thought about coloring it to represent mood or energy or something, but I was like, no, it's too pretty. I just don't want to mess it up. So I left that like that. I did do a very simple habit tracker for the month. I like actually seeing the habits on the months, just to see how well you do. So the dots are yeses and the X's are no's here in the habit. And these are the different habits I track. So the more dots, the better when you look at it at a glance. I do have the goals section, a memory section, don't forget, favorites, and then a next month section. So I am a big Auburn football fan and alumni twice. So football season's always fun for us. And we did actually pretty well this year until the end, of course. But I wrote down our little fight song and our schedule and results. So, and then I did home and away in different colors over here. So this is the Slant weekly spread. This is mood and energy tracking and productivity. The days, this week is a down arrow and next week is the sideways arrow. Notes, headlines, week's wins, so that's like the best parts about the week. Favorite meals and gratitude. I need to finish this because when I made the spread, I didn't have the full pack of Tombow colors. So I do have them now because I got them for Christmas. But what I did was, I have this in the back of my journal. So it's the brush pen color chart. And I had put dots on the ones that I did have, which, so I would actually see the numbers. And I would look at these team colors for my fantasy football drafted team. And I would actually have the number kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but it is penciled in there. So 905 was the other color that's supposed to go here. So 905 is here, so red. I don't know why I didn't have that color, but so that would be the other color. So they're all there. I just never got back around to filling them in. And then I had my schedule, who I was playing in fantasy. So this is one of my favorites. This is the Perspective weekly spread. It's kind of trippy looking. It has the this week and next week section, the days and the dates, mood, energy, and productivity tracker with the key here, a notes section, and then this is the day boxes where what I did and like my to-dos over here. And this is a meals section and a one line about today section. This is another food spread. This is just another memorable meals section that I just wrote down some of my favorite meals and where they were and what we ate and ratings and stuff. So this is the Try weekly spread. This is one of the ones we did in a live draw session, and actually a very simple one to try if you're just starting out. These are some fun little rubber stamps from Michaels. These are I showed them in the first video, but these are some of my favorites, so I can show them again. These little clickable stamps. I actually use just the one letters there, but they click together so you can make all kind of words, and they have upper and lowercase stamp sets. So I have both and I love them. A meals section, song of the week, weekly takeaway, every single thing, don't forget, and then a one line about today section. So there's some of our football tickets from the year. This was one of my first live draw spreads. So this is the sunshine spread for obvious reasons. Looks like a sun. I have the days going around the sides this week and next week at the bottom. Then I have a weather section and a Zen section. Song, ideas, headlines, weekly win. And then I have the mood and energy trackers here. So you can tell which one's first and which one's second per day by looking at this little key here. And this is kind of the color code that I'm looking at. And then I do have the sleep tracker, so if you're not familiar with that, in a lot of my spreads I have what time I woke up on a certain day, what time I went to sleep on that same day, and then how many hours of sleep I got on the end there. So that's what all this end column means. It's not necessary, but it is kind of cool to see exactly how much you're sleeping during the week. This is a blog post I'm working on still. But I always like to make a little spread to go with my blog post. So this was a fun, and I wish I would have done this a little bit more, but it did take forever to do. But this was the 2017 VMAs. I put the date and the host, and then I actually listed out all the nominations, and I would put my pick in the pink, and then the winner I would do other crossway in the orange here, so you can kind of see which ones I picked right and which ones I picked wrong. So it was kind of fun. This is actually my favorite Hello page that I've made. I haven't made many, but this is one I spent a little bit more time on, doing the little gradient effect with the Tombow Galaxy Pack set. So this is the monthly spread. I don't really name my monthly spreads, I just call them whatever month it is. So October 2017 slanted monthly spread. I of course list out my 3 goals, add memories, and then another daily do's section. So these are things I like to do the same time each week. And then I did another little simple habit tracker along the bottom here. So this is kind of funny. I took this test like a year ago, and then I ran across the Pinterest pin and was like, oh, that'd be cool to do in the journal. So I did this whole spread and copied it from, it was actually, the test is at 16 personalities, and the infographic was from Business Insider on Pinterest. So I made this whole spread, and then I took the test again and got a different result. So I actually got an F instead of a T here. So it was very close, but now I gotta make a new spread. But I still love how this turned out. Love the colors. So this is the umbrella spread, and this is the very first time I've used the dice key. So I call it the dice key for obvious reasons. They look like a little dice, and you could of course go up to 6 there, but I ran out of room. So 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. And this is just like if you don't want to pull out your colors every single night, which I do have. I don't do that. I usually pull them out at the end of the week. But the dice thing is a lot easier to just track how your mood, energy. I did water here and productivity with the dots instead of actual colors. And I did the what I'm section this week and next week. And then the Monday through Friday, this is the umbrella spread. So these kind of look like umbrellas. Also did the weather up here, and then a sleep tracker here, same as the last one. And then the mood and energy, and you can kind of tell mood is a square and energy is a circle. So on these guys. And then I just use the colors, I think, from maybe the last key. Gratitude and don't forget section up here in these empty spots. Try to make the most out of all my space on my pages. This was a party planning spread, another excuse to use my stamps. This was for my boyfriend's birthday. I had actually just wrote down kind of my plans, and then the week timeline, what I needed to do each day for that party, gift ideas, and a grocery list. Another mess up page, I do have them. Sometimes I'll just leave it like it is and just not worry about it. It's not worth worrying about it if you mess up a page, I swear. It's okay. This is actually my most popular spread from this past year. It's called the Plan and Reflect spread. These are little stamps I got from Michaels. It's the same with the banners. For each day, my goal was to kind of, like before the week, I put this week will be ... And so I put planned and productive. And then at the end, I put this week was. And so I filled that out at the end of the week. The bottom here on each day has a mood, energy, and productivity tracker, and I only used 3 colors here. And then the top was kind of my to-dos for the day, or what I did, and then at the bottom little half of the section, you gotta write small in here, I guess. I do have, it says today was on every single day, so I would write how the day was. I have a word of the day here, and that's just anything at the end of the day that kind of describe your day, any word at all. Memories section, little habit tracker, headlines, and a meals section with water tracking and steps tracking. And I still absolutely love this spread, so it's a fun one. And we did do this in a live draw session in my Facebook group. Also, all of the live draws are still in the Facebook group if you ever want to go back and watch them and draw it along with me. So this is another time block, but this is for the specific week, and I wish that I sat down and did this every week to show exactly what I want to do during these certain time blocks during the week. But I don't do it every week. I totally need to, because it makes your week so much more productive. I do have a blog post all about this time blocking with a printable if you're interested. This is the questionnaire weekly spread. So like I said, if I have horizontal days, a lot of the times on the left side I'll write things I need to do or appointments, and then on the right side I'll write at the end of the day what I actually did do and use my little icons. Then I have a little notes section at the bottom, and this is called the questionnaire. So down the right side of the page I ask myself all these questions, and I asked myself before the week began, and so during the week I would answer them. So you can make up your own questions, of course, but I put what did you learn this week? What did you do for yourself? How did you work towards your goals? What are you loving this week? What are you grateful for? What are you working towards? And what's next week's main focus? That is actually a really good idea to keep you on track. I did have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner section, wake up and sleep time, and then weather section in the middle there. And I also put my few appointments that I had that week up at the top section. I drew my desk out. This was back when my desk was in my bedroom, but now since I've moved into a bigger little office in the house, it's changed a lot. So I do want to make a blog post to show my exact desk setup and how I use everything and make everything efficient. And I promise it's coming, but this was the write-up before I actually decided to move into a different room. So this is the stripes weekly spread. So it's just for these 2 stripes here. And you can track anything in these sections, of course. I did one line about today, and then I did breakfast, lunch, and dinner on this side. And a little section for gratitude and song of the week. Every single thing, and I do have a waiting on section here. Actually, these colors represent days I work and days I didn't work. So this week I worked on the pink days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I was off on these green days. So just a kind of fun little touch to the layout. And then I do have a goals section here and a notes section here. So this was when we went on a little vacation, actually nearby. So I just kind of documented the trip. It was just a weekend thing, so I kind of wrote exactly what we did. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Kind of fun. This was a popular spread. We did do this in a live draw. It is the Crooked Ladder spread, so it was during Halloween week, so it's kind of perfect for Halloween week. Just kind of looks like a crooked ladder, just fun. It does have the mood and energy trackers with the key down here. And then appointments and notes, working on, reading, loving, listening to. So this is the currently section. Now and later, news and wins. And then on the side, I do have this tracker with the sleep, meals, word, and weather. So this was actually on my vacation when I had a little downtime. I asked you guys questions that you had for one of my live draw 6 sessions. So I wrote down actually who had the questions, and I elaborated on the questions. So just for details to go over in the session. So this is November's monthly spread. Nothing too crazy over here. I did separate out my goals into the monthly goal for November and then the weekly goals, and they correspond with each week. So these are the goals for this week. Those are for that one. I do have appointments here, and I numbered them, and that's actually where these numbers come from over on this side. So memories and headlines I like to do during the month, and then a next month. And I do have a blank key there, but I never did anything with that. So different ideas for the blog. On some of my blank pages, I'll just come back and write in those pages. This is the basic. It's called #basic on the website. This is one of the most simple layouts you can transfer from my site. So it does have a now and a later section, and then the days go across the middle there with an important section and a one line about today, and then a goals section. So every day I had a specific one thing I needed to do, so I would just write the goals here, and then a weekly goal up at the top. So I am a huge fan of Hangout Festival. They come to my hometown every year, so when they released the lineup, I had to make a spread out of it. So this is just the lineup for each day: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Fun, fun. This is the November 13th through 19th, so this is the overlap spread. We drew this in a live draw. This is a fun one. Do have the goals section, a health box, and a sleep box here, gratitude notes and song, and then I use this little key down here. Didn't even label the key, but I know what it means. And I like to tell people, I know the colors are pretty and everything, but I don't pull them out every single night. But if you see these little notches here, these are just the black pen. So like at the end of the day, each day when I'm filling it out, I don't have to pull out my colors. I can just do that at the end of the week. But I put these little notches to represent kind of how the day went. So mood was super great that day. Energy was pretty great. Productivity was pretty good. So those are those notches. And I do that every day. And so I can just pull out my colors once a week. Or even later I could pull them out and know exactly what color I would want to color those. So this is, actually I just made the spread, so I'm just trying to analyze Instagram stuff, and this is very confusing, but it is, I'm just looking back on older posts, and I was going to write down the certain stats and maybe highlight some of the better performing posts and see if there's trends, just because everybody's always trying to figure out Instagram. It's just always changing. So this was actually the reference, and I'm probably will do a blog post on this if y'all want to see it. These are the reference, what each of these little boxes, they correspond, the same box on each page. So anyways, a little confusing, but it's just for my little stats and my little brain trying to wonder these things. So this is the Chevron weekly spread. Did this in a live draw. Day boxes on one side, goals, notes, and then have a meals section. So I did do lunch and dinner, and I did my little icons, whether we ate at home or we ate somewhere at a restaurant or just had takeout. I did do the little notches again on my mood and energy tracker, and this is the key throughout the middle here where what colors I use. So sometimes I would just write key and I wouldn't even pull out the colors until I'm actually just filling out the journal, just because I have so many different colored pens, and it just depends. I'll do these far in advance, so I just pull out the colors one night and color it all. So I have a memories and headlines section and a little gratitude hidden in there. That's about it for that spread. This is a lovely spread that someone in my Facebook group named, because I had trouble naming it, but it's a perfect name, called Pencils and Post-its. Just because this side, these guys look like pencils, and these guys look like Post-its. So here at the bottom is the key for the each day box. So if you look at the key, you can tell what these things actually mean up here. So one thing is my one thing that I needed to do for the day. These little notches are my color codes for mood and energy, along with the little key. I do, the top line is one line about today, and the bottom is gratitude. So you can track anything in these sections, but that's just what I chose to track. And then this little timeline here is wake, sleep, and number of hours. So those are my sleep times, and I did color code that for easier reading. And again, I did use the notches here, and so I just came back in later and used all the colors. And then the right side, little Post-it side, is my day boxes. This was a Christmas shopping spread. I had all good intentions. I had a printable on the site for this too, but I didn't really implement it too much. I kind of started out and then didn't finish it. But anyways, it shows your ideas, estimated cost, when I actually got them, the cost, where I got it, and then if I bought it, if I wrapped it, and if it's in hand. But I actually did that on a different sheet of paper, so I never got around to filling that out. So last month of the year, this is the December 2017 monthly spread. I do have, of course, the goals section, and I didn't keep up with this too much, but the current goals, monthly goals, and then 2018 goals. And then I had a timeline. It's kind of like January of the year and February of exactly just kind of what I did that day, just a few words just so I could look back and kind of remember. These are important appointments for this calendar. So this was fun, and the first time I've done a full year in the journal. So once I got done with the year, I went back through ever since the beginning in January of 2017 and wrote down some of the cool things that happened during the month. So I've actually just write down the date and write down what fun things happened. So it's just very cool to show your actual highlights. I just call it the year in review spread. So this is the columns weekly spread, December 4th through 10th. Nothing too crazy different here. Highlights, goals, every single thing, a little habit tracker, today things, and then weather, and then my day boxes on the right side. So this is when I reached 60,000 followers. I just drew this for the Instagram, had a giveaway, and then actually went back and graphed the numbers that it took to get there. So super quick growth at the very beginning and then kind of faded out. And then I wrote some important dates on there. So just fun way to track things. So this is the Fox weekly spread. This was another live drawing. So had some fun decorating with the Christmas stamp pack here. Too crazy different either about this one. I did do one line about today and food tracking, and then water tracking here along the side, and mood and energy with the key down here at the bottom. Last FM, I'm sure most of you have not heard of this, but this is one of the first little music services that I ever was a part of back in like 06 or 07 or something crazy. But it does still sync with my Spotify account, so it kind of shows what I've listened to. So I went back and looked at my 2017 stats, got my top tracks that I scrobbled is what they called them. It pretty much means just listen to. My top 15 tracks, and then my top artists. This is how many different songs I listen to and how many different artists I listen to. This is a fun spread called The Trees Layout. For obvious reason, this was Christmas Eve week. I did do a mood and energy tracker here, and those are the colors. I do have little mini Zen doodles on the sides. This week and next week, different songs, notes, gratitude, and wins throughout the week. So Spotify actually sends out a email about your 2017. So this is my Spotify Wrapped, and it shows actually the top artists and top songs I listen to and how many minutes of music I listen to, my top genre, kind of fun. And then I went in and added my favorite playlists that I listened to during the year. So it's just a fun one. Love just sitting down and practicing lettering with no real rhyme or reason. So this is the very last spread of the year. This is called the Ribbon Weekly Spread. It shows every single thing now and later. And of course, these guys mean something. So this is a mood tracker and energy tracker. And then these are the 4-color key here. And I did use the notches again throughout the week. So, and then the day boxes are over here. This was another live draw session, and that is about it. So, I did continue on this book for this year so far, but I will be starting a new one, I think, in March. So thank you so much for following along with me on that flip through. I know it's a little long, but thanks for tagging along to the end. If you do like seeing this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments, and please subscribe so you get updated when I post. Also, I'd love to see you in the Facebook group where I do have live sessions every other week, and I do, at the end of some of these drawing sessions, I show you exactly how to draw from start to finish, some of the weekly layouts, and I let you guys vote on what we draw on. So it's fun time, and I really enjoy it and showing you exactly how I do it from start to finish and getting your ideas. So I'd love to see you there. Also, I do have a giveaway for a new journal every single time, so I draw on a brand new one and actually send out the journal that I use. So I hope to see you guys there. I will link everything important in the caption down there, so please check it out and follow along, and I will see you guys later. Bye.